All right. Look who we got on the show. The famous Robert, who we've always mentioned. The mythical, the
I
mythical
know.
Robert.
I actually do exist.
He's here.
Dude, the last time the three.
And he's wearing a Bullet Club jacket.
Oh my God! What?
I came prepared.
All right. Well,
I haven't I haven't worn this in years actually. But yeah.
well, we'll get to that topic in a few minutes, but we have some other topics to discuss first. But before we jump into wrestling news and discussion, I have the last time the three of us were together, we were watching day one of WrestleMania, and we all had our predictions, and we had a prediction board, and Vlad came out on top with 6 correct predictions, and Robert had 4, and I had 3. So out of the three of us, I guess Vlad is the foremost expert.
Well, I'll just say that I just can predict. I can kind of predict somewhat WWE booking. So maybe better than you guys can. But I still don't think I'm an expert.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the most right. So
Yeah, it's something. It's something.
Hey, I'm just messing around. I just thought it would be funny. But hey, listen.
It is funny.
So thanks for coming on, Robert, to our modest podcast. We're trying
of course.
to build up the viewership. Last week we had a downturn in our ratings because we went down from 30 views to about 15.
Oh no, that's terrible.
It's like-
I didn't even know. I didn't hear about this.
It's like AEW losing like 100,000 or 2
Oh, no.
out of nowhere.
Oh well, out of nowhere, yeah. It's a mystery.
Well, listen.
But anyways,
let's
yeah, that's unfortunate.
let's start out with the topic. Okay, so we've
Yeah. I'll let you go.
It's this week. I'll introduce the first topic. As WWE have moved Cody Rhodes away from the Universal title picture and into a feud with Brock Lesnar, and Bad Bunny is in a high-profile feud with Damian Priest in the Judgment Day, we also had a surprise announcement that they will be adding a new World Heavyweight title. And that title will be the main title on the brand where Roman Reigns is not drafted to. So before let's take a look at the title for a second. I have a picture right here.
Yeah, let's take a look at this thing.
There it is.
Right.
I guess.
It's not. I mean, it is what it is. It's not terrible looking.
I don't.
It's okay.
And
It's kind of plain.
It's okay.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, before I give my opinion about it, let's start with you guys, my guests, the great Vlad. Whoever wants to go first out of you two, Vlad or Robert, I'll let you guys decide. You guys have any thoughts about them splitting up the titles again?
Robert, did you want to go first, or I should go first? It's up
Sure.
to you.
So my initial reaction was, hey, that's cool, because Triple H, when he announced it, he did kind of let's say diss Roman Reigns. Sort of. He said that you will now have a champion that's not like a part timer. In essence, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing that we would have a world champion that's not just around, every now and then. Because I don't think he's gonna be in Backlash. He's not, right?
No.
Pretty sure. So yeah, so that brings up a good point. Like a world champion that's actually going to be around for the most part. So, but that was my initial reaction. I actually liked it at the very beginning, but then I thought about it some more. It made me wonder if this was already planned before WrestleMania, or did they just come up with this as a reaction to all the hate from the result of Cody losing the WrestleMania match. I'm not quite sure, but if they did plan it beforehand, I guess the result in WrestleMania makes a little bit more sense, but I don't think they made the right call ultimately. I still think Cody should have won it at the end, but I guess it would have made more sense that, like it does now in retrospect, if that was planned prior. But I don't know. Um, I'm still okay with it. I guess that there's a new championship belt that's gonna be separate from what Roman's having. I don't have anything too negative to say about it.
All right, all right. Let's hear what Vlad has to think. Vlad, what did you think? Come on, what was your first gut reaction to this?
Uh, just disappointment, of course, because there should be one champion in a company. That's the way it's always been, and that's what's the way it should be. Okay, and this is to be a secondary title because Roman is the champion. Nobody cares about this belt. Okay, it's secondary. It's like back in the day when there was an intercontinental champion, and that was a mid card championship, which is fine. But that's what this is going to end up being. It's a secondary belt. You want to have one champion in your company. The guy that, not two brand splits. All this stuff is nonsense. This is all creation that they created, and it never works, and it's never interesting. They don't have a deep enough roster where they can split the brands. There's like 8 guys in this whole company that are interesting. What are we splitting? It's nonsense. It's nonsensical. It's cuckoo. It's cuckoo. A secondary champion, another champion, a fighting champion. You have the best wrestler in the world, but that's your champion. Okay, I'm sorry. He's been the best. He's been the best for a while. So all this all this talk is just insane. Like a secondary champion. If they want to do it, okay. It's just not a good idea, and it's never worked out in the past. It's never been interesting to have two champions. I've never liked that idea. One company, one title, one world champion. That's the way it should be. But and maybe because it's modern wrestling and everybody just needs to have a belt. But I think less belts the better. The less belts the better.
Yeah, there are a lot of belts already. All right, I want to go off on a rant now. I want to do it because to me I agreed with Vlad. Disappointing immediately. Very, very disappointed. Sad as hell. I'll tell you why. Because I think to me this officially puts the nail in the coffin in the Cody Rhodes storyline that I told you he was never going to win the title. Now, even if he wins one of these 2 titles, he's not winning the undisputed title from Roman Reigns. That was supposed to be the cool thing that he did to win the world title. Now he's going to win maybe one of them if he does. Okay, so that's number 1. Secondly, to me, I think this buries the entire roster because nobody could come up with a way to beat Roman Reigns. He had 3 guys who help him, Solo and the Usos, and nobody could come up with allies or something to even up the numbers game. And then in the end, we just give up. Well, no one's gonna win the title from Roman, so let's just make a second one because he's gonna be the champ.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this buries everybody. And third point, another thing, I think this buries Roman Reigns too, because now when he's gonna be only champion of half the company, he's not the undisputed champion anymore, and he's gonna have to be satisfied with I'm only one of the champions now. Again, like if he's really the man, he should be like, no, I want that championship too. I'm gonna go there and get that. So. And on top of everything else, I will say yes. I agree with Vlad that having 2 world champions in a company is kind of ridiculous. How are they the champion? They're not the champion. There's 2 champions. So okay, that's what I have to say. If anyone has anything else to add, I'll conclude that segment and we can move on. But
yeah, let's move on because I think I think all our points are clear and concise. They've done it before. It's never good and it's never interesting. So why go back to it? Everything was going well with Roman as the Universal Champion, and it'd be fine if somebody else was the Universal Champion. So why even do this? I don't know. I don't like it. So for all the reasons you and I have just said, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe you'll be proven wrong, but I doubt
Robert did bring up the one good point that I think is the one argument against it, because at least there'll be a fighting champion now, right? I guess that's the one thing.
So when you mentioned, that this buries everyone, that point, like I never thought of it that way, and I agree with that. But then you mentioned this also buries Roman Reigns. I actually don't think so because I feel like
Nah,
this
he's fine.
this makes him look still look good because since no one could take the belt off of him, they had to create another title to fight
Exactly.
over. So so on that third point of about Roman Reigns being buried, I don't agree with, but the
Nah.
other point about the others getting buried. I can agree with that.
All right, well, listen, this news about the New World title split, to me, it's just the continuation of the whole disappointment from Cody Rhodes and WrestleMania. It's so depressing that
Yeah,
it
it was
Oh no.
it makes me
Oh
want to
no.
reach
What
for the
what are we
bottle.
advertising? Oh
and
no.
I yeah, that was a disappointing result. And you're hearing this from a very big Roman Reigns fan. I'm a huge Roman fan, but I still thought the result wasn't right.
Well, I don't know about you, Robert, but this whole thing, it makes me want to reach for the bottle, the strong stuff, and
Oh, the strong
the
stuff. All
the
right.
strong stuff. To me, Night
That was
Train,
not the bottle. Oh, Night Train.
Night Train.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever had that before.
What is Night Train, Kalen? Educate
I don't,
us.
you know what? I don't know if I want to find out.
Night Train, very affordable, good quality wine. Do you want to leave
Wine.
this
Wow.
terrible reality for a little while? Forget that there's a world with a WWE brand split, at least for the night. Get on the Night Train. Bottoms up. Night Train. You'll love that stuff. Night
That's where
Train.
the song.
You can never
Of course,
get
that makes sense
enough.
now.
Night Train.
You make some very good plugs for various items.
Well,
Yeah.
Electrolyte, now this.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This is his best one yet.
Get ready to crash and burn, baby. You'll never learn riding the Night Train. So you guys haven't ridden the Night Train, huh? Robert's never had it. Vlad's never
I've
had it.
never even heard of it. I've never even heard of it.
It's like MD 2020. It's like really cheap wine. Like it would be like the cheapest thing you could get at the liquor store back in the day. So this was it would just mess you up, give you the spins, black you out, and send you to the next day. Send you to tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. as you drink a cup of that.
All right.
I got it.
Listen, let me cut the tape off. We'll start another segment.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
So this is a segment I wanted to discuss. I don't know if you guys are going to have anything to add to it, but we discussed last week the AEW Dynamite angle where Chris Jericho's crew handcuffed Adam Cole to the ring and made him watch as they enlisted Saraya to beat on his girlfriend Britt Baker with a kendo stick. And some really liked the angle, claiming it was classic wrestling. I've seen some of this discussion. Others criticized it. So I was discussing this with Robert at the bar when we were at Banter the other day. So I'm gonna read a quote to you guys from Bryan Alvarez. You know Bryan Alvarez. He has a
No.
podcast. I know. Well, just as an example for the other side, I'm just gonna read his quote. Bryan Alvarez from the Wrestling Observer. He has his own
All right.
podcast.
What did Brian say?
He was gushing over this segment, absolutely gushing. He goes, "I thought this angle was so great. I absolutely loved it with every ounce of my being." That's what he says. He says, "I saw some criticism of this on the internet, and it's
Wow.
like, dude, just go do something else in your life. This wrestling thing is not for you if you could not see how effing great this angle was. I don't know what to tell you. I heard melodramatic, this and that. Come on, it's effing pro wrestling. Not even half, 99% of the stuff we see in wrestling is melodramatic. Are you kidding me?"
That's true.
That's what he says. He says that's what makes pro wrestling. And he says it's always over the top. He says this was great. He absolutely adored. And last week when me and Vlad talked about this, I thought there was something off about it. I didn't really like it. I don't.
No.
But listen, let me make a point to you guys. I pointed this out to Robert the other day. I don't think it was melodramatic. Like the melodramatic bad acting stuff, I can do with that in wrestling. I don't mind bad acting. I know they're wrestlers, okay? And so this, I thought about it some more because at the time, I guess I didn't really understand why this segment didn't really hit me. But I want to show you guys some pictures because this this is
Pictures. Oh,
Keon really came prepared.
yeah, I got some pictures.
I can't wait to see this.
So look, so this is the girl that we're supposed to feel sorry for that is getting beaten down, Britt Baker, right?
That's still my friend.
This is her with a broken nose, laughing off a broken nose. Okay. So
Well, okay.
so yes,
But that's not-
so
okay,
she's
so-
getting whooped, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her. Like, oh my God, this poor girl, right? Here's another one. Here's her with Thunder Rosa in a steel cage match. Okay, thumbtacks everywhere. Here's her
Right,
getting
yeah.
fucking thrown into the thumbtacks, and
Yeah.
so dude, this girl is hardcore, man. Are we supposed do they think we're stupid? Like, did we forget all this? See, this is my problem with AEW. Not that the acting is bad, it's that the storytelling has major holes in it. It has plot holes. This is not good storytelling. Like, maybe if it was like if you just had a regular girlfriend who wasn't in wrestling and she came out and they whooped her, then I'd be like, okay, this is sad, poor girl. But it's Britt Baker. She's been through everything. So I just wanted to hammer that point in real quick because I don't know. I mean, I hear AEW get a lot of praise from some people, and I don't know if Robert dug this segment last week or if you thought it didn't really smack. It didn't smack to me.
Okay.
But
All right, so the point you brought up about, her dealing with a lot of stuff, I didn't think of that at all as I was watching that. But, since you brought that up, you do make a good point. So in retrospect, with that in mind, it does make sense that it's more silly now in retrospect when you, put that into perspective. But at the time that I was watching it, I was actually distracted by the bad acting. I thought
Absolutely.
I thought it was I thought the idea was good, but the execution wasn't. That was
Absolutely.
my reaction.
Yep.
It was
Robert
pretty much
nailed it.
as simple as that. I wasn't thinking about Britt's history of hardcore matches, but
Yeah.
with that perspective, yeah, it does make it seem even more silly.
so there you go. I mean, I don't mind bad acting. I've seen plenty of wrestling with bad acting. I could roll with it as long as as long as they tell the stories right.
For me, the bad acting that was more so on Adam Cole's part. His face, I just couldn't take it seriously. I thought
Right.
Britt was fine, but Adam Cole, oh my goodness.
How can anyone take this
Hilarious.
seriously? Well, Vlad, listen, if you don't have anything to add to this, we did discuss it last week, but
Yeah, I concur with Robert. It's the acting that really took it out. I mean, yes, there's bad acting in wrestling, but this was supposed to be a dramatic moment, and when these type of things are done or have been done in the past, it's way more believable. This was just not good. I know like you said, the idea was there. It just the execution and the way they did it and the people involved. They couldn't work it out at the end, so
I
it
just
was what it was.
I just think it's ridiculous that after everything she's been through, we're supposed to feel bad that she's taken 3 whacks of a kendo stick. But anyways, speaking of kendo sticks, this segment has been brought to you by
There's a
Shinai
kendo shop?
Shinai Ilkum kendo sticks. The new Shinai
How am I looking
Ilkum
at?
sticks, they're good for multiple strikes. As you know already, the Shinai brand is synonymous with quality. The new Ilkum is maneuverable and light-weighted, and for the skilled kendoka, which is, I guess, a guy who, hits people with kendo sticks. This is made for people who prefer multiple strikes and fast swings. So if you know someone with a girlfriend who needs to be taught a lesson in humility, look no further than Shinai. Available at kendostick.com and all your local kendo stick outlets. All right then. We'll be right back after this.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways,
Where do you get this stuff? Kendo shops, multiple strikes.
all right, we're back. Let's read a quote here from Vlad. Vlad from Quantum Flux Wrestling Podcast. This very show,
What
actually.
did I say?
Last week we were discussing Bullet Club Gold. Quote unquote. Who cares? Bullet Club. Are you kidding me right now? Go to Japan. Who gives a crap? Go watch. Go watch the Japanese wrestling if you care about the Bullet Club. You're trying to build an audience here in America. What are we doing here?
That's right.
Are we trying to build an audience, or are we trying to put a group together that nobody cares about here in the States? Are we trying to get people to watch this show or not? Because this is the type of stuff that is going to lose audience and make it only for diehards. Then Vlad proceeds to rip on the booking of Jay White versus Commander, saying this is where he lost interest in the show. He didn't take notes
right.
because it wasn't worth his effort. Quote unquote,
No.
they expect us to watch this. This is a Rampage match.
I mean, am I lying? Did anything I say was that? I mean,
Well, listen,
what's
Vlad,
the issue?
we brought Robert on the show today because we were at the bar discussing your quotes here. And obviously Robert, seeing from the jacket he's wearing, is a fan of the Bullet Club. And he wants to explain why he actually thinks they are relevant in AEW, right?
Yeah. All right, but before I get on that, so I just want to disclaimer here. I'm not like a Bullet Club or New Japan guru. I have limited exposure to them. I didn't really start following New Japan. I've heard about New Japan many years ago, but I didn't really start following them until Chris Jericho went there, and that wasn't too long ago, right? And then so I kept tabs on New Japan, and of course, since Bullet Club was very popular there, I followed them as well. So I knew some of their history. And then I didn't really, when AEW was created, I didn't really, follow them as much. Nowadays, I don't really follow them at all, honestly. But so just a disclaimer, so in case anybody is watching this thinks I'm like a huge New Japan mark, and and I know everything about them or Bullet Club, I don't. And I also want to rewind to a couple of episodes ago, because what you said, Vlad, was a response to Heihan's interpretation of my reaction to you saying, calling the Bullet Club Gold, I guess the elite version of Bullet Club. Okay, so all right, so with my limited knowledge of the Bullet Club, what I do know, when I did watch it was, there is the Bullet Club group, but within that group there was a subgroup that came out of it who called themselves the Elite. That was mostly Kenny Omega, Cody, the Young Bucks, and I think Adam Page was part of them too, I believe. I forgot. But it was a subgroup within the Bullet Club, right? So it was a reaction to when you said, I guess the Bullet Club Gold is the elite version of the Bullet Club. I just I just found it hilarious that you said that, since the elites, the group that we call the elite, was a subgroup of the Bullet Club. I think I understand what you were trying to say, right? If I was trying to say the same exact thing you were, I probably would have worded it differently, just for clarification that, you're not talking about the elite, right? Because there's already the elite, but you're just saying that this is another version of the Bullet Club. That was literally like my reaction to that. And then last week, Kayan said like I was mad and I was throwing stuff at the screen. And then your response was to that. Okay,
Right.
that's cool. Now to finally respond to like you saying that nobody cares about the Bullet Club. I disagree, or at the very least, I would say that that's got to be an over exaggeration.
Hmm.
So, because before AEW was
Let
created,
him finish his point,
Hmm.
Vlad. Let him finish.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a lot
yeah,
to
yeah,
say
yeah,
too, but let's go ahead.
yeah.
before AEW was created, the Bullet Club, more specifically the Elite, they held a event called All In.
Yes.
Hmm.
Uh, forgot what year this was, but this was before AEW. It sold out really, really quickly. I'm going to say like maybe half an hour it sold out, and it generated a lot of buzz, and it made people believe like, hey, you know what? Maybe a new wrestling promotion can be started based on the buzz. And this was, like I said, this was held by members of the Elite and the Bullet Club. So it was pretty much that fan base. And the buzz from that event eventually led to the creation of AEW.
All right. That's a good
So,
point.
the core fan base that created AEW was Bullet Club fans. So, look, I'm not gonna say that the majority of the general wrestling fan base knows who the Bullet Club is or what their history is, right? But to say that nobody cares about the Bullet Club, at the very least, I would say that I would view that as an over exaggeration because that can't be true. AEW would have not existed.
Okay, if you want to respond, Vlad, or I've had things I wanted to tell Robert since we talked about this at the bar, but I said I was going to save it for the show. But do you want to go first or what? Because I definitely have a an argument
I'm,
against this.
I'm just gonna say that okay. When I said nobody cares, I mean general wrestling fans do not care. Yes, I said it's for the diehards. I already made that clear that it's for the diehards that know who this group is. But that's if you're trying to build an audience and you're just throwing this name around to get people's attention, it's not going to work because
Oh yeah.
the majority of wrestling fans do not care because they don't know what this is. This was in Japan. This might have been in Ring of Honor slightly, but at the end of the day, this is a very, very small group of people that know what this is, and that's the only people that are watching this show, unfortunately. And you're not going to be able to build if that's what they're going to keep focusing on. So that's
Right.
my only point.
I
They
I
need to expand
remember.
their audience. That's what they
Yeah.
need to try to do, and they're not doing that. They're actually going
Yeah.
the opposite.
I
They're going the
remember
other way.
you said that right after, like when right after you said, nobody cares about Bullet Club, and I actually agreed with that. I
Okay.
forgot to say that, but I agreed with that point.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna bring in a group or members of a group from an outside promotion, especially when they're not from the States, like
Yep.
you can't just automatically assume everybody will know who they are or everybody cares enough to look online to see what their history is. That's not gonna fly. It's completely different from like when way back in the early 2000s, WWE brought NWO to the show. Like, of course, everybody knows they're from America.
Right.
So that's like a whole different story. But to bring in Bullet Club or some members of the Bullet Club when they're from another country's or promotion, we can't make that assumption that everybody's gonna know or care enough to find out about them. And that is something what I believe AEW can improve on a lot. Like do something like give some history about them or give them an angle that will or can generate interest in the states and people will actually start to care. So yeah, I agree that that's just something that can be an improvement if we want to bring in.
And what's the point of putting these two guys in the company and just calling them Bullet Club? Like, they're two guys. I don't know.
Well,
Whatever.
I want to go back to the significance of the Bullet Club at All In and leading to the formation of AEW. I think that's a fair point, I will say.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I will also say thank you for starting our company. Goodbye. Get the hell out. Because, yes, I will say 600,000 is what the diehards are. About 700, maybe 800,000. You know,
Maybe.
and it hasn't grown. And that's the issue. We don't 800,000 is not enough to us. It's not enough. We want the show to be bigger. We want everybody to be watching. We want all our friends to be watching. We want girls to be watching. When we date girls, we want them to know what's going on.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good luck with that.
It could happen, man. Some
I know,
some girls are in.
It used to happen.
It-
It happened all the time when wrestling was good. That's what happened. Everybody was watching.
Yes,
men and women.
wrestling storylines can be cool enough for people to be into it, you know. And to be honest, yes, thank you to the Elite for getting Tony Khan to convince them to do this. But, you know, to be honest, your job is done there. Like, yeah, you did 10,000 tickets at All In. Good, great. It's just 10,000. 10,000 is not what we're looking for. We're looking for a couple million, man. We're looking for a show that's better than WWE. That was the point of this. We're supposed to blow WWE out the water because they suck. They're stupid.
Right.
They're splitting the titles up. They fucking ruined it with Cody and everything. WWE are awful. AEW is supposed to easily be beating them. Easily. And that's the issue, why we keep criticizing and getting pissed off at this show when there's things that are not, you know, logically good and fucking living off the glory of New Japan. Like, okay, 500,000 people watch that or something like that. That's not enough. To me, that's not significant. It's like, thank you for starting the company, but please, can you get that shit out of here? I guess it's the best way I could put it. But that's all I got to say about that. That's my hot take. But listen, maybe I should go back and watch all this Bullet Club stuff, huh? From New Japan. Should I go back and find the old tapes and maybe I'll have a better appreciation of this? Should I do that, Robert? Or
Maybe it's, I mean, that's up to you. But I have the perspective, you know, of someone who already knew, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say for me, like, to tell you that, oh, you should watch their history. I watched their history before AEW was created, so it's just a different perspective on my part.
Well, look, man. The only way I'm gonna go back and watch the whole history of the Bullet Club in New Japan is if I got really, really lit, really lit, really lit. But gosh darn it, I don't have a lighter right now. And if you've ever been so broke
Another plug. Here's another plug.
that you couldn't even afford a $1 lighter from the gas station, then you're feeling me right now. So I gotta go to the store and I gotta ask for a pack of matches. This segment is brought to you by DD Bean and Sons Matches. These are absolutely free at most liquor stores and gas stations. I recommend you ask for one every time you make a purchase so that you'll have extra lights in case you don't have a lighter like me right now. But if you're in a pinch and you really need one, be courteous and please show up to your local convenience store not smelling like ass. Take a shower, have a nice smile on your face, and they'll probably just give you one. And if they're in a bad mood, you know, and they might just throw you out, but, you know, try the next place. You'll get one. Don't worry. DD Bean and Sons. Free matches out of the goodness of their heart. Well, listen, Robert, I think this is where we're going to bid adieu to you because we're going to do a quick Dynamite review, and I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
But I do want to thank you for coming on. This is a historical day.
You're the lucky one, Robert. You're the lucky.
Oh, is that bad? Oh, shoot.
Vlad's a
Is it that bad?
Vlad's a
I was watching.
he's a
I was
hater.
watching the Laker game, and I didn't want to miss out on the live. But I
got it, man. Trust me.
AEW could always watch later, but
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right.
Well, we would have liked to have had you on, someone with a little brighter perspective than Vlad, because he's a little jaded by this right now. No, but
it's funny you say that because I probably might have a brighter perspective on a lot of the segments, but when you guys come up with like the gradings reviews, I more or less agree with you guys. So it's weird.
Well, yeah, when we grade
there we go.
a show, man, we're kind of thinking of the glory days. Like an A show is like a Raw from 1998. Like this is not like that, so we can't really give it an A. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
It would take a lot.
A shows are from the old WCW from 96 to 98, or the Raws from 97 to 99 or something like that. Yeah. Those are A shows, but
Nowadays, not so much.
nowadays, if they got a B- like they did last week, it's time to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At least it's not a D show or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, anyways, Robert, you can go off to the bar now and get drunk, but
Oh man, I'm not gonna be there as often for like the next month or so because my schedule changed. So
ah, shit.
yeah.
All right. Well, listen, you're welcome on anytime. You know, if you happen to have watched Dynamite by Thursday night, that kind of seems to be when we're doing these shows. So if you feel like coming on, please come on. We would be happy to have you. We'd be happy to have anybody, really, I think. If
Actually, last week I could have done the episode with you guys last week, but I just for some reason I thought you guys do the podcast on Friday nights.
Ah, shit. Yeah, you know.
So, but I didn't know you guys. So when I woke up Friday morning, I saw on my YouTube feed your your video. I'm like, wait, they did it already? I'm like, but I could have done it last week.
Yeah, well, last week I was running late watching it too. I watched it at the very last minute before we actually did the show, but that's why I didn't really call you because I wasn't sure if we were gonna get it done in time.
I don't know why I thought it was on Fridays, but now I know.
Well, look, we'll try to get us all on together next time. All right.
All right, cool.
All right, Robert. Well, have a good night.
Good talk.
Have a good one, Robert.
All right,
Take care, man.
later.
Bye.
All right, we're back on the show. Robert's dropped out, so he can go get drunk or something. But that was nice. I had fun with that. But we're gonna do the hard part of the show now. We're gonna review this week's AEW Dynamite from April 26th, 2023, which at this point was last night. But this show will probably get released in the morning of the 28th. And so let's get right down into it. So we start the show with Orange Cassidy versus Bandido for the International Championship. Bandido, former ROH champion, as they have mentioned here. So he's a formidable opponent. And Orange Cassidy, who's really coming into his own lately. He's at this point, he's on his 19th title defense, straight title defense. Is looking for his 20th. This guy is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So this is a hard-fought match. Orange Cassidy ends up catching him with an orange punch followed by a beach break. Deadly combo. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. 20 in a row for Orange Cassidy. I know you don't really want to talk about this match. No.
I'll just say it went 20 minutes, so 20 minutes of TV time was dedicated to this crap between Orange Cassidy and Bandido. Okay, I have nothing else to add. We can move on. I think that speaks for itself.
I didn't think it was that bad, man. I mean,
Bandido and Orange Cassidy to start the night for 20 minutes.
Well, look. Speaking of Orange Cassidy beating Bandido, that's a big win for him. That makes him look good. So again, they're pushing him. Let's just get that.
Why? Who's Bandido? Has he won a match?
It's a former ROH champion, baby. Ring of Honor.
Oh my God, Ken, come on, man. You sound like worse than anymore. He's an ROH. He's never done anything on the show. Every time he's on the show, he loses. Like the 5 times that he's been on, he's lost every single match.
All right.
Unless he wins on YouTube, I don't know.
Okay, so you're not impressed with Orange Cassidy beating Bandido. I'm impressed.
No.
I think he put together a good string of moves to put him down. Anyways, so they showed
legendary win.
So they showed mutual respect to each other after the match. Orange Cassidy offered Bandido his shades.
Oh, yes.
And as we'll see on the rest of the show, it looks like they're going to be like good friends now. Like Bandido really digs Orange Cassidy's vibe. So, let's move on. The next segment, Adam Cole is backstage with Rene. He says he's going to call out Chris Jericho, and he's all fired up. And
Right.
so that's a tease for later. Orange Cassidy shows up thinking he's going to be interviewed after that incredible match they just put on. But Rene said, no, that's not what they were planning, and he walks away. That's as disappointed as I've seen Orange Cassidy ever. He goes, oh, and he leaves, and then Bandido follows him. So, moving on.
Yeah, they both said oh, and they both. But I didn't even know fucking move. Nonetheless, so that's good.
All right. After the break, it's another backstage interview with Rene. She's with Darby and Jungle Boy, and Darby wants to bury the hatchet for whatever jabs they took at each other last week. They took a bunch of jabs at each other, and so he wants Jungle Boy to have his back tonight, but Jungle Boy's not really into that. You know, he's so he doesn't really go along with it. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And Darby again says, well, he would have beat Jungle Boy. So again, it's kind of testy here. I guess they're trying to tease that maybe, something's going to happen between the two of them, I guess. Or maybe they're trying to throw off the audience. It was kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah.
Again, this is the Pillars angle. And we'll see where they go with this, right? So I'm just going to move on because we'll cover that later. Next, we got Double J, Jeff Jarrett against Dax Harwood. Interesting booking, I guess, right?
Yep. Yes, this I watched. This match I watched.
Okay, so it starts out with all the referees not letting Jeff Jarrett come in with his posse, which is ridiculous, I thought, considering how, everyone else gets to bring everyone with them. And looks like Jeff Jarrett's getting singled out here a little bit for his reputation, I thought. So I thought that wasn't fair, really. But about the match itself, let's see if you have any thoughts about it. I mean, Jeff Jarrett can obviously still hold his own in the ring, and he's 55 here. Dax is 38 years old, so you'd think Dax would take this, but it was a competitive matchup. And in the end, Jeff Jarrett wins after interference. So they spent all this time, not letting any of them come with them, but they come anyways. So all that was for nothing. But let's see. I got this new timer here for 1 minute. So, Vlad, you got 1 minute to talk about whether you think Jeff Jarrett should still be of use in AEW.
I think he can be of use. I think he can be better use backstage as like a guy that like for creative and like as an agent and things like that. But if they're gonna put him in the ring with another great worker like Dax. And I guess if you want to have a feud with FTR, with Lethal and Jarrett, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I thought this was a good work match. These are two really good workers. And yeah, I know a lot of people like complain about Jeff Jarrett and like, oh, you want to see Jeff Jarrett, but you're not going to watch Orange Cassidy. Well, yeah, because Jeff Jarrett knows how to work. He's an old timer and he knows how to get things done. This was a really well worked match for the most part. It was very solid, really good work, nothing ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I mean, yeah, I prefer to use Jeff Jarrett backstage, but okay, this is fine.
Well, I'll put 1 minute for me. I don't think anybody knows this because I haven't mentioned it on this show, but Jeff Jarrett is the greatest wrestler of all time, bar none.
Jesus, Cam.
Okay, I'm a big mark for Jeff Jarrett, okay? I think he's very much useful here because, look, he gets heat. He still gets heat, man. As soon as you mention Jeff Jarrett's name, the whole crowd is like booing him already. So yeah, I think he could still be of use. I think they should use him in better angles, personally. I think they should put him in title angles or something where the tag title picture, that was good. He almost won it. They had a great one of the greatest matches on Rampage I've ever seen with the Acclaimed. I thought it was exciting. The whole house was into it like hell. So I am so happy to see Jeff Jarrett. I wish he was in better angles, personally. I think he should be in bigger angles. But that's all I got to say about that. If you don't have anything to add, Vlad, we'll move on.
Well, I'll just say this. First, on the Jeff Jarrett point, is it heat? Is it good heat or is it go away heat? Because those are two different types of heats. So let's not. We gotta find where it is. I think a lot of people would argue that it's go away heat. And the second thing is, it looks like he's going to be, as far as better angles, he looks like he'll be feuding for the title with FTR. So maybe that's something, right? That's better than what he was doing earlier when he was with whatever he was doing before with Orange Cassidy and anybody else he has been working with before, the Danhausen and whatever else. So I guess this could be a step in the right direction if you talk about using him better. This seems like somewhat of a, I don't know, I guess, a serious angle, possibly.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Trying to get you back here. All right.
Oh, did you lose me?
No, I got you. I'm just I messed up with my little stopwatch, but let's move along. Let's see how many minutes we
Sure.
We got some time. All right, so let's move along with the show. We got another big Tony Khan announcement, another one. So this one is the return of the Owen Hart Cup tournament, which he says will conclude at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So again, I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock for you, Vlad.
Nope.
And do you think this is a good idea as a tribute to Owen Hart? We've already seen this tournament once. I don't know if you got any thoughts on it from last year.
Yes. Look, I'm a big Owen Hart fan. I think he's a great worker. He was a great wrestling personality in the sense that he could be a heel. He could even be a good face. He could do it all. But they did this once last year. Does anybody remember anything from it? It was very lackluster. I'm not saying that it's not a good way to honor Owen Hart, but it doesn't seem like it mattered a whole lot. I mean, it didn't do anything for anybody. Nothing memorable came from it. I'm all for honoring him, but I don't know. This seems kind of pointless. So that's my only concern. I mean, like I said, Owen Hart. Grew up watching Owen Hart. Love Owen Hart. Think he's a great wrestler. Obviously, very sad what happened to him. But this, I don't know. This I don't think this honors him correctly because it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If anything, from last year, we could remember that it was kind of weird that they had like this. What was the match? It was like a hardcore match, and I think somebody was trying to gouge somebody's eye out or something, and Martha Hart was in the audience, and everyone was like, "This is kind of awkward because her husband died, and here's like some really
no, somebody actually took a crazy spot from like really high up, and everybody was like, "Oh, what? This is Owen Hart."
Yeah,
this is terrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm not too excited for a tournament either. I mean, I guess they could come up with something out of this if there was a good feud or somebody really wanted to win it, I guess. But if last year's any indication, it didn't seem like they had anything really special prepared for it. But we'll see, I guess.
We'll see.
So let's move along. The AEW this edition of AEW Dynamite review from Quantum Flux Wrestling Podcast is presented commercial free for the rest of the show. So all you people out there, commercial free, baby.
Oh, wow.
All right. So next we got Wardlow against a jobber, and it's a squash. It was really fast. I didn't even catch the jobber's name. I don't think they even said his name. I might have missed it, but okay. And then Double A, Arn Anderson cuts a promo for Wardlow. So he's his mouthpiece, which you thought was a good idea last week. I guess this was not bad. And then Christian and Luchasaurus tease entering the ring to challenge them, but in the end they're just playing mind games and they back off. So let's see, just to run through the show quickly, I'll give you 1 minute, Vlad. Do you have any hope Christian can make something for Luchasaurus, or is this a waste? Because he seemed to do a good job for Jungle Boy, right?
I think it's possible he could do something for him. There were weeks when he first started that it looked like he could be a good heel and like a monster heel, and he was working like a heel, like just being a big guy, choke slamming people and using power moves and just overpowering people. I think maybe, but at the end of the day, I'm leaning towards no. It's not going to work out. It's not going to get anything from him, and I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it because he's not going to. I don't think he's going to beat Wardlow for the title. Though, who knows? The way they keep giving this title to everybody, So who knows? But my head is telling me that it's not going to lead to anything significant for Luchasaurus.
All right. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and talk about the Pillars angle, which was what's coming up next. All right.
Nice.
Cut. All right, we're back. We're gonna run through the rest of Dynamite. Vlad is looking good over there, looking handsome. Hey, I noticed you didn't have your tea today. What's up with that? Usually you have.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I don't know. I'm just drinking this flavored water, I guess, today. I don't know.
All right, look, we're going to get to the heart of the show again. The Pillars angle. This is the main angle on the show. It's Sami's backstage with Rene, and he's quickly interrupted by MJF, who comes in and gives Sami a kiss on the forehead. and then Sami returns the favor. So then they yuck it up for a little while, talking about how they're such good friends. They give each other gifts. Sami gives MJF one of his leather vests, and MJF gives Sami one of his douchey scarves, obviously. And I kind of think they have good chemistry, to be honest. I think they'd be a good team if they weren't trying to screw each other out of the title. I kind of wish they would actually be a team.
Well, they worked together before when MJF was with Jericho's group, right? So they have some experience working together, right? So there's that.
They were inner circle, right? Yes. They were inner circle together.
Inner circle, sure.
So yeah, I mean, I could see them being a duo, but it looks like it's not going to happen. So anyways, we got a super fight. It's Darby Allin versus Sami Guevara with Ty Conti, and MJF is going to be on commentary. He brings along his jar of pickles, offers Taz some pickles. Taz doesn't want to take it without a fork. He's like, "You got a fork?" He thinks it's kind of dirty to just stick your finger into a jar of pickles. Anyways, the move of the night, Sami hit a 630, which is one of those crazy moves, like he could die at any moment trying this. But 630 off the top rope onto Darby Allin, who's on a table outside. And again, a Jim Cornetteism that, to hit a move like that and it's not the finish. Darby beat the count out. So he beat the count for the count out. Gets back in the ring. Then we got interference. Ty Conti and MJF comes in from the announce booth and throws Darby his own skateboard. So Sami falls down like he got hit with it, and then the referee turns around and sees Darby Allin looking guilty and disqualifies him. The old Eddie Guerrero, right? But it's done by a heel this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's in this case, it was ridiculous because they just had a guy where he sent someone through a table, and that's not a DQ. But this, where the referee doesn't even see what happened, that's a disqualification. Okay, I don't even have the words to describe that stupidity. That's all I'm going to say on it. I'm not going to dwell on it.
Yeah, I know.
But it's stupid. Okay,
yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
I know. I thought the same thing. I thought this was such a terrible finish. I mean, okay, it worked for Eddie because he's the face, and it gave the crowd something to laugh at. But how could you DQ someone for something you didn't even see, right? So
right.
Okay, I thought that was awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a post-match beatdown afterwards, and Jungle Boy does come to it to save Darby. MJF on the ramp cuts a promo on everybody, including the audience and everything. It's a good classic promo from him. I'm not going to go through what he said. Classic MJF. And then we get the part where Tony Schiavone relays a message from Tony Khan, the general manager, I guess. This is kind of a general manager thing to do. And he says, due to all the shenanigans, Sami and Darby are going to have a chance to earn their way into this title match and make it a 4-way. if they beat MJF and Sami in a tag match next week. So,
so it's probably going to end up being a 4-way. I mean, so everybody's
hold on, Vlad.
fears are going to be...
Hold on, Vlad. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock for you.
Okay, sorry, yeah. I wasn't prepared for this.
What are your feelings on a potential Pillars Fatal 4-way?
Talking about it, I think we both agree that it should be Darby, singles match. There's no reason for a 4-way. It's going to end up now being a 4-way. I thought we were kind of getting away from it because it looked like that it was going to be one person. Obviously, I'm not a fan of multi-man matches. I think it's just too much shenanigans, and it becomes more of a spot fest than an actual good match. So I obviously prefer singles, action, one-on-one, main challenger. In this case, Darby versus MJF. But whatever. It is what it is. I shouldn't be surprised.
All right. Well,
I knew it would be what I didn't want.
I know. I'm with you, Vlad. I wanted it to be Darby, but I'm not a fan of 4-ways. But I guess that's what it's looking like we're gonna get. It's a dream match to AEW fans. The Pillars Fatal 4-way. I mean, come on. I guess it had to happen someday, but I didn't think it should happen now. Maybe sometime down the line. Anyways, moving along. Backstage, MJF and Sami are pissed about the whole deal. They yell at Tony Khan, and Sami goes to get into MJF's car with him, and MJF says it's full. There's no room for Sami. And then the cameraman literally zooms into the back seat. There's no one sitting in there.
Right. That was funny.
And he leaves Sami behind. So how will this affect how they'll work together next week in this high-stakes matchup? I guess we shall see.
We shall see.
Adam Cole comes out next segment with conviction. He's trying to sell this terrible angle they're doing that we've discussed earlier in the show. But Chris Jericho comes on the big screen. He says he doesn't want to be near such a coward, someone who stood by and just watched his girlfriend get beat. So he sends his boys to do the job instead. And then the new best friends, Orange Cassidy and Bandido, come out to help Adam Cole. I don't know why. I don't know what they have to do with Adam Cole, but okay. They're probably just hanging out in the back smoking pot, and they saw this guy needs help. They're like, we should go help him.
Yeah. I don't even know, bro. Whatever those two jokers are doing, I don't care.
I know, but that was to me that was just randomly funny, but okay. So that still doesn't turn the tide. And then Roderick Strong debuts out of nowhere. So to help his old Undisputed Era teammate, this got a big pop. Roderick Strong clears the ring, and Adam Cole and Roderick Strong hug. Okay, again, like I'm not a big mark for old NXT stuff, just like I'm not a big mark for old New Japan stuff. So I'm gonna chalk.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of both. Roderick Strong. I don't know a lot about Roderick Strong. I know he's a good wrestler, but
another former ROH champion, huh?
Yeah, I guess. But I from what I've heard, I can't, like I said, this is only from, I haven't seen a lot of Roderick Strong matches, but he is, people say, a reliable and good worker. So,
excellent worker.
Take that for whatever that's
worth.
Dude,
we watched one a long time ago. There's no way you're gonna remember this, but once you were at my house and I had like Ring of Honor tapes, and it was Seth Rollins, I guess Tyler Black against Roderick Strong. I thought it was a great match.
I do remember that.
And I showed it to you.
I do remember that, actually.
And it was one of those fight forever type of matches, like 3 finishers and all that, and still kicking out. So at the time I was young and I was like, whoa, this is incredible, fight forever. But I guess looking back on it, it was like the genesis of what we have now for these long matches that seemed that they should have ended earlier. But okay, Roderick Strong, serviceable worker. They got a new guy in AEW. Like the roster wasn't big enough. But okay.
Yeah.
Let's move along. QTV, Powerhouse Hobbs shows up pissed at QT Marshall that they didn't help him keep his title. So, QT, he pins him against the wall, and QT talks his way out of a beatdown and says he has a plan. So Powerhouse Hobbs is going to rely on QT Marshall to help him get his title back. Again, more burial of Hobbs. Like, just go get the title back on your own. What the heck do you need QT Marshall for? But okay.
Yeah, you're a huge monster. Just do it yourself. What the heck are you talking about?
I think he's going to end up getting turned on by QT, and it's going to be a feud between them, which is...
Oh my god!
I know, that's...
Don't even joke.
I bet you. But we'll see.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jade Cargill versus Jade Cargill with Mark Sterling and Laila Grey versus Taya Valkyrie. So this one had a stipulation. It's for the TBS title, and Taya Valkyrie can't use her move because it's too reminiscent of Jade's move, the Road to Valhalla, I guess it's called. And so this is a terrible angle, terrible stipulation, terrible ending to the match. If you don't have any, I'll put 60 seconds on the clock for me. I'll go off on this match.
Okay. You go off first. That's fine. You go off.
Well, look, I have a problem with this because Jade, this title reign, she doesn't deserve it. She doesn't deserve an undefeated 55-0 title reign. So I talked to you about this a while ago. I don't think it was on this show, but we might have been talking. I thought this should be the time to put somebody over. Why not? I mean, if you're not going to put anyone over to end the streak and make someone famous, then it's a complete freaking waste of time. And I thought this is as good a time as any. Taya looks good. She's got a great look. She looks strong. But in the end, it was a bad ending. She tries to roll her up, or she tries to put her move on her. She tries to put the roll, and then she realizes, oh, I guess I can't do this move, and she ends up getting rolled up. So again, nothing, and Jade Cargill keeps her streak going. So I'm kind of annoyed by this. I think this is not going anywhere for Jade Cargill. I'm disappointed in this. I think she hasn't really improved enough as a worker to merit having a streak of this crazy nature. So, anyways, Taya Valkyrie goes crazy. She was gonna put Aubrey in the Road to Valhalla, but all the referees coming. So I would have liked to have seen that, honestly.
Me too.
But
I would have popped.
Yes, I would have definitely popped. Let's move on.
Yep.
So we got a backstage promo with Britt and Jamie, and they vow revenge on the Outcasts for the beatdown they took. Jamie Hayter was in an arm sling. I don't know where the heck that came from. I didn't know.
Yeah, I also couldn't place when she injured her arm. I couldn't remember. It didn't come to me. I still don't even know. I didn't even look it up. I don't know what happened there.
Exactly. This was what confused us last week, because it was like, why would she just stay back and watch her friend get beat down like that? But okay, I guess there was a reason.
Okay, I guess.
So this was like a standard promo. They say they're ready for a war. Okay, whatever. Let's move along. Here's a pre-tape of your favorite group, the Bullet Club Gold. Jay White and Juice talking about their upcoming match on Rampage with Ricky Starks and Sean Spears. God, too bad for Ricky Starks. Well, this angle has fallen very flat, man. I mean, if these guys wanted to make a name off of Ricky Starks, I kind of get the logic of that, but they didn't give this feud like any time, so we're not gonna give this any time either.
No.
Moving along, main event is the Butcher and the Blade with Kip and Penelope versus Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita. Okay, I mean, nothing against Omega and Takeshita, but Butcher and the Blade in the main event. Okay, I don't know, but
yeah, it's unbelievable.
So
it truly is unbelievable.
The match, there was a ton of interference from Kip and Penelope, but Omega and Takeshita end up taking it. I'm gonna skip the whole match. So there was a post-match angle. Danielson came to cut a promo, which he fumbled over his words. I don't know if you noticed that, but
yes, I did.
The crowd was on his case that he would. But what he was trying to say is that he wants Takeshita on his side, right? And Blackpool Combat Club come out and attack Omega. They throw Takeshita out the ring. They don't really hit him because they're trying to, recruit him, I guess. But so the Young Bucks come in like superheroes and they make the save, and then they save Kenny Omega from getting bludgeoned with the screwdriver, And then Omega is so pissed that he wants to use the screwdriver on Moxley, right? And then Takeshita comes in, and he's the good conscience. He's like, no, don't do this, this is too much violence, no. So that gives the Blackpool Combat Club an opening to come in and wipe everyone out. And they try to claim Takeshita as their own, raising his hands, and then Takeshita's like, no, I'm not with you either. And then they beat him down and literally bludgeon him with the screwdriver and leave him laying in a pool of his own blood.
Don't know if there was any blood. The one time there could have been blood, they decided not to spill any. But
there was blood. Did your thing get cut off or something? Because they did cut him open.
I didn't see. Did they? Well, maybe I just didn't see it, and then of course, but they did it right as they were going off the air. So I don't know. Whatever to this whole thing. I mean, I read somebody said this is like their currently their favorite feud or something. Like, what? This is trash.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's tough because the Young Bucks are involved, and I guess it just doesn't look good that they're coming in to clear the ring of the Blackpool Combat Club, by themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, everybody that I don't like, except for Cesaro and Danielson are involved in this thing. I despise Moxley in all his matches. The Elite, I don't really care for them. So this is. I mean, I guess it's good that they're all in one thing, but not two separate things where you get to see more of them. But
Well, Takeshita's getting a little bit of a spotlight here for this angle. Yeah. That's kind of good, I guess. Or
is it? I don't know. I can't say.
I mean, in storyline, he's sought after, right? Everyone wants him in their group, so he's making a name for himself. I guess that's the one positive. I'll try to come up with something positive out of this because I don't want to seem like Debbie Downer. But okay. Anyways, so that's that. I don't know. You want to give a grade?
Yeah, this was a pretty bad show, dude. This was a D plus. This was a D plus. This was a bad show. This was not good.
I'll give it a C. I'll give it a straight C, not a C minus or a C plus. I don't think it was awful, but
I think it was pretty awful. Even the stuff with MJF wasn't very good this week, so that means it was really bad. This was a bad show. There was no redeeming qualities that I got from this show. I couldn't even think of anything that I enjoyed. Like last week, I gave them some benefit of the doubt. They tried some stuff. It didn't all work out, but at least they were trying. This week, I don't know, man. I was turned off right away, man. When Orange Cassidy comes out and he's fighting Bandido. I mean, it's a terrible way to start the show. And then your main event is Omega. I know that that's not, it's not really that's not what the angles with the whatever BCC or whatever, but still, it was just not enticing to stick around because I'm not really fond of the BCC just beating up everybody. They beat up some random guy. I don't even know who that was. And one of the other things you didn't mention in one of the backstage segments, it's all nonsense. So I didn't get any enjoyment out of it. I didn't like anything about it. I'm not fond of this. Maybe I'm being a little rough by giving it a D grade or somebody, but I think that's kind of where it was. It was probably, and I'm probably being nice because it was probably a D straight up, but I'm giving it a plus. So I don't even know why I'm giving it a plus. It's probably just a D, but just give it a D plus to be
all right.
Nice.
All right. Well, we only got about a minute left on the tape, so I mean, I try to roll with it.
What do you? You said you give it a what?
I gave it a C. I gave it a C. I tried to get into I think of Orange Cassidy's matches. I think this was one of his better ones. So I try to roll with it. I try to roll with the amusement of him being friends with Bandido. Okay, So I try to have a good attitude about the show today. I give it a C. I don't think it was fantastic. I think I mean, MJF and Sami, I think, are kind of funny. But anyways, that's all the time we got for this week. Vlad, thanks for coming on. It was a good show, man. I'll see you. I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good night.
All right. You too, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.